trials and tribulations. Yeah, I'm a lawyer! In case you missed anything, it's time for me to fill you in on this case. Iris claimed that she moved Elisa's body across Dusky Bridge, but I used the weather data to prove that was impossible. But when I was pushed to explain further, I handled it the only way a lawyer should, through science!
You're using this pathetic scribble to support your argument?
Physics, bitch! Is my theory enough to shift suspicion away from Maya? Find out on Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations next!
Wright, I wonder if you can prove what happened to us. Do you have any actual evidence that the body was swung over like a pendulum?
Take that! Before I present my evidence, let me review what we know so far. According to this photo, one of the wires snapped. Looking at the map, we can see it's the one that was in front of the inner temple.
So then, that was the spot where the criminal...
Uh-huh. Yes, precisely. Now let us consider the body's movement by looking at the overhead map again. If the body was pushed from this point here, it would drop on the opposite bank at approximately this point.
Did you say drop?
Well, they must have failed to catch the body on the other bank.
What? What makes you think something like that happened?
Because I have evidence that suggests her body dropped some distance.
What? What kind of evidence?
Take a look at this autopsy report. It says here that her body fell about 10 feet after her death.
10 feet, huh?
That's most likely the height difference between the two sides. The body overswung due to forward momentum, but then came loose and fell about 10 feet. And as a result of the landing impact, this crystal sphere was knocked loose. Yes, this blood-stained amethyst crystal. It's the one that came off Miss Elisa-Nim's staff! And even more important is the place where this crystal sphere was found.
Indeed. I believe it's already marked on this overhead map. The crystal was found...
Aha! Precisely, Your Honor. In the very spot where the pendulum would arrive if given the right amount of speed. Simple science.
This explains your theory quite well, Mr. Wright. You have provided us with a way the body could have been moved that night. An impressive deduction, Mr. Wright. Most impressive. Mr. Wright!
I thought this cold coffee might help cool you down.
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Godot?
That was a dark and bitter guess that you made, Wright. But you forgot about one thing.
Oh, and what would that be?
The aroma.
Huh?
A coffee's most reliable accomplice is its deep and profound aroma.
The rest of the court doesn't speak Coffinese. Can you elaborate a bit more?
If the criminal had sent the body to the other side like you say, then naturally, there must have been an accomplice laying in wait to catch it.
An accomplice?
The criminal was not able to cross Dusky Bridge, so who collected the body? What do you have to say about that, Wright?
Mr. Godot is correct. This can't be the work of a single person. Well, Mr. Wright, you know what you must do.
Yes, Your Honor. The body couldn't have made it to Hazakura Temple without an accomplice.
Very well. If you please, Mr. Wright. Who was the person that received the body on the Hazakura Temple side?
Take that! It can only be you, Sister Iris.
Huh? But
I don't see why you're so surprised. The only way to transport the body from Dusky Bridge is by snowmobile. But with her bad back, Sister Bikini could never pick up a body like that. You're the only one that could have managed it.
Objection! Wright, were you even listening to the witness's testimony? On the night of the crime, this little cutie pie was on cleanup duty at the Inner Temple Garden after the mother-daughter bloodbath.
Objection! I haven't forgotten, but have you, Mr. Godot? This witness was also seen at Hazakura Temple, desecrating the corpse of the victim.
Huh. Strange indeed. It's almost as if, on that night, the defendant was in two different places at the same time.
Exactly. Sister Iris, let me ask you something. Why didn't you mention it when you first gave your testimony?
Mention what?
The pendulum, of course. Using this sketch drawn by an eyewitness, I have established how the body was moved using the burnout bridge. Which means it's now a fact that this occurred, something you should have already known.
No! I had no idea! I didn't know anything about a pendulum.
But the body couldn't have been passed along to the other side without your help. So you should have known about it. In fact, it'd be impossible for you to be clueless about this whole thing. Unless you're not really Iris to begin with.
What? How can you say that, Mr. Wright?
What? What kind of nonsense is this? You're saying this witness isn't Iris of the Hazakura Temple?
Objection! Are you serious, Trite? You mean... this woman is...
There's no one besides Iris that could have received the corpse that night. Now I get it. Now I know why I've been sick to my stomach during this trial. Why her whole demeanor changed so suddenly from yesterday. And why she's trying to pin this murder on Maya. The woman that's standing there at the witness stand. Her real name is Larry Butts! Now wouldn't that be funny? Take that! I never thought I'd have to utter your name again, let alone see you. It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne.
Hawthorne?
Sister Iris had a twin sister. And you're looking right at her, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
That name rings some bells. Distant bells, but bells nonetheless.
It's just your imagination, Gramps. This file contains all the relevant data about Dahlia Hawthorne.
Oh yes, I remember now. That case, 5 years ago.
My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I just want to say it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence. Tee-hee!
The honor is all mine.
No, the honor is all mine.
No, fuck you! She wants my honor!
But, according to this, Dahlia Hawthorne is already dead. It says her execution was carried out last month.
So what? Death has no meaning in this courtroom.
What? Order, order, order!
Wait a moment. How can you? My sister, she's already dead. What kind of...
Objection! You, of all people, should already understand. After all, the blood of the master of the Karain channeling technique flows within that body.
The Karain channeling technique? Now where have I heard that?
That's right. You're not Dahlia Hawthorne herself. You're the spirit of Dahlia, currently inhabiting the body of a spirit medium.
What an exciting story. Exciting but quite impossible. You're asking us to buy that Dahlia Hawthorne just happened to be channeled by someone on the very night of the murder to a temple where her twin sister Iris was.
Well, if you're gonna put things that way, then yes.
Objection! We're supposed to believe a coincidence like that just happens?
Objection! Naturally, it was no coincidence. The whole thing was part of a plan from the very beginning. It's all written right here in these instructions.
What's that?
These instructions are written by your mother, Morgan Fay. And part of the plan called for Dahlia Hawthorne to be channeled. That night, there were 2 irises at Azakura Temple.
2 of them?
Even the time of the channeling was planned out. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, in other words, 10 o'clock p.m. However, Iris was seen before dinner time.
That means the Iris that was at dinner was the real Iris.
And the Iris who gave me this hood in the main hall was also the real Iris. Meaning that the Iris sister Bikini saw at the inner temple was someone else dressed as her, namely one Dahlia Hawthorne!
Objection! Do you even know what you're saying, Wright? This whole channeling the spirit of Dahlia Hawthorne business. Yes, it's true that you found plans that talk about it. However, there is one thing that's perfectly clear. The witness currently standing in the witness stand is the real Iris.
What?!
Calm down and remember what you know about the night of the crime. After meeting Sister Bikini, the Dahlia Hawthorne that had been channeled would have been stranded at the inner temple due to the lightning strike. It was later that the body was moved by pendulum.
That's right.
Naturally, that would mean that the Iris that received the body was the real Iris. Are you with me so far?
Yes.
After being notified of what happened, the police came to Hazakura Temple's main hall. There they found Iris in her room and arrested her. And ever since, she's been under police supervision at the detention center.
Yes, I suppose. I can't deny any of that.
Thank goodness. It looks like he's finally convinced.
But something still seems off. Way off. I'm still not convinced that the Iris here is the same one from the other night.
I suppose you're about to say something ridiculous. Like, the real Iris and the spirit of Dahlia somehow switched places.
Switch places? To be perfectly honest, there are still quite a few things I don't understand, but I do know that unless we confirm the witness's identity, we can't continue with this trial.
Iris doesn't have the spiritual power needed to channel Dahlia, which means we must have switched places somewhere.
Well, Mr. Wright, since the time she was arrested at Hazakura Temple, have there been any chances for Iris to switch places with Dahlia Hawthorne?
Got no choice but to rat you out, pal. Your Honor, I think there might have been one chance.
Oh, explain yourself.
Yesterday, for a few minutes, Iris's whereabouts were unknown.
Unknown? What do you mean?
What I mean is there was a span of time in which Iris was able to move about freely unsupervised.
Well, who was it? Who would give a murder suspect time to move about freely like that?
I'm sorry, I know you didn't mean to, and it wasn't your fault. The person who gave Iris the chance to freely move about was this poopy butt right here. Take that!
This is Mr. Edgeworth, isn't it?
Your Honor, there was a fairly large earthquake yesterday, was there not?
An earthquake? Huh.
Earthquake! Oh my goodness! The inner temple! This kind of tremor, man! Holy shit!
How could I have She fled. She escaped.
We went to the inner temple right away. And it's true, Iris was already there. However, they had already switched places by that point in time. When I arrived at the training hall, I was met by none other than Dahlia Hawthorne.
That's quite enough already, Mr. Wright. Now see here. No judge in his right mind would consider the idea of spirit.
Be quiet. It's been a long time, Mr. Judge.
Ah! That voice!
Guess I'll have to ask again. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, always ask for her name and profession. That's one of my rules.
Dahlia Hawthorne, and my current profession? Permanently retired.
So you're not going to bother hiding your identity anymore, huh?
Why should I? After all, I'm dead. There's really nothing you can do to punish me.
What is going on here?
Dahlia Hawthorne. I never thought we'd meet again. And I never thought we'd meet like this. But this time I'll end it. For her and for myself. Hey, wait, I was having a dramatic moment here. Why'd you cut me off?
Now then, let's continue where we left off, shall we? Well, witness?
Yes? How can I help you, Mr. Judge?
Well, it seems that if we're to learn the truth, we'll need to hear your testimony.
I have no problem with that. But when you've seen what I have, sometimes the truth is better left unknown.
In any case, let's hear your testimony. Tell us about the plan that was carried out that night.
The whole plan began with my death. A stupid plan by Morgan Fay to install her daughter as the next master. But for it to work, Maya Fay would first have to die. The idea was for me to kill Maya and then have the blame pinned on Iris. The plan went wrong, but it seems to have succeeded anyway.
Wait a minute! Did you just say the plan was to kill Maya Fay?
Yes. You have a problem with that?
Don't give us that nonsense! There's no way that—
Watch yourself, trite. If you've got a problem, solve it during cross-examination. That's my rule.
Mr. Godot is correct, and by the way, that's my rule as well.
To kill Maya? Could it be true? Hold it! You were executed last month, correct?
Yes, I was hanged. It wasn't exactly pleasant.
How did you manage to discuss the plan? When did you talk with Morgan Fay?
Last year, she was transferred to the same detention center as me. Since I was on death row and she was my mother, it was actually pretty easy to meet with her.
I see. So that's when you discussed the plan.
Are you crazy? At first, that woman was planning to kill me as well. Even though I'm her own daughter.
All to make Pearl Fay the master of Karain?
She's a cold, twisted woman. She thought she could finally regain her lost honor. The honor she lost when her younger sister Misty took her place as the master. Ever since that day, she's been working on this plan.
A plan, huh?
Her own daughter. Hold it! You're talking about Pearl Fay, is that correct?
Yes. Well, at first, she had high hopes for the two of us.
You and your twin sister Iris?
That's correct. Fortunately, neither of us had much spiritual power. That's why we were abandoned by her, along with our father.
Abandoned?
The only person I ever really cared about in life was myself. My sister was a nuisance, so I convinced my father to leave her at an old temple.
You mean Iris?
Yes, my father remarried a woman who also had a daughter. The less children you have, the more money there is to go around, right? And on top of that, my father had absolutely no interest in children in general.
How horrible.
The real horrible one was that woman. That bitter, vengeful woman. It was her stubbornness that gave birth to that child. Pearl Faye. She was born with an abundance of spiritual power. Unfortunately for her, Morgan Faye heaped all of her broken hopes and dreams onto that poor child's back. All because of her pathetic dreams of having her bloodline become the main family.
Hold it! Maya would have to die, but why?
For our bloodline to succeed as the main family, thus making Pearl the new master, the remaining descendants of the current master had to be taken care of.
Objection! But Pearls would never agree to a plan like that. She adores Maya.
How sad. You still don't get it, do you? What Pearl wanted had nothing to do with it. Morgan didn't care one bit about Pearl. The only thing she cared about was the position of the master. That's all.
That's ridiculous!
She was willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to achieve her goal. The life of her daughter, and naturally, the life of Maya Faye as well.
How could anyone do that? Hold it! You were going to kill Maya!
Pearl didn't need to know anything about it. All she needed to do was follow the instructions in the letter and channel me. Then I would have simply used her body and finished the job. In any case, I'm already dead, and there's nothing any of you can do to me.
So the plan was to blame the crime on your younger sister, on Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple.
She and I look absolutely identical. No one can tell us apart. If someone were to witness me killing Maya, naturally they would think it was Iris that had done it.
And the witness in this case was a head nun, Sister Bikini.
I never would have guessed she was going to return to Hazakura Temple that night. But she wound up seeing Iris's crime anyway.
But why did you want to pin the murder on Iris in the first place? She's your twin sister, isn't she?
Twin sister? Don't make me laugh. She's nothing but a backstabber. I couldn't care less about her.
Backstabber.
You just don't understand. He never will. Anyway...
Hold it! You think the plan was a success?
You heard me. Just as that woman had hoped. Maya Faye is dead. Now the title of the master will pass on to Pearl Faye.
Objection! That's absurd. Maya's she's just trapped inside the sacred cavern.
Really? You're as foolishly optimistic as ever, aren't you? My darling Feeny. Do you want to know the truth? Ever since we've met, I've despised you. Your sniveling naivete and your pathetic faith in other people.
I just want to know one thing. What did you personally think of Morgan Faye's plan?
I told you already, didn't I? It was a stupid plan. It had no point, no value other than fulfilling her own greedy desires. Yes, it was certainly nothing to be proud of.
If that's how you feel, then why'd you help her carry it out? Why would you do it? Why would you kill Maya?
You may not understand it, being the kind and gentle soul that you are. You may not be able to appreciate why someone like me would help a woman like that.
So then tell me, why?
Isn't it obvious? I'm not like that woman. I only act in my own self-interest, and the reason I helped her was for myself. For my own personal satisfaction.
What did you just say? So this woman, Dahlia Hawthorne, she had her own reason for wanting Maya dead? Hold it! Obviously, it's because you were helping Morgan Fay.
Helping? Don't make me laugh. From the day I was born to the day I died, I never helped anyone. I lived for myself, and in the end, I died for myself. I thought that was obvious.
So she wasn't actually cooperating with Morgan. She was just using Morgan in her plan so she can accomplish her own goal.
All I wanted to do was kill Maya Fey, and that was the only way I could think of to get revenge.
Revenge? It looks like I have no choice but to present that piece of evidence. I can't believe it. She meant to kill Maya. I've gotta keep a cool head. And I need to get more information out of her. It's the only way to understand this plan and what she was after as well. Actually, come to think about it, I've got all the information I need. In the last trial, there was one name you screamed repeatedly, one person you wouldn't shut up about. And that person is Mia. Objection! Could it be that your actual goal had nothing to do with Maya Fey herself?
As I said, none of you have the power to punish me anymore, because I'm already dead.
Iris! Iris!
Feeny!
Hang in there, it's gonna be okay.
Let's get away from all this. Let's live together in a world where only attorneys exist.
Iris, there's no world just for attorneys. It's only a fantasy.
I know. I wanted to believe it. I wanted to live in a world where only lawyers exist with you.
Iris! Iris? Iris, wake up! Wake up! Iris, stay with me. Stay with me! No, this isn't happening! There's no reason for me to go on! What am I objecting for?